Okay, so I've got Toby Edwards with me. We were going to have a little talk about the London Underground.
London Underground.
Because you were telling me that you knew quite a lot about all the stations.
No, I wouldn't say absolutely every station, but I would say most of them. But I have a colour poster that tells you what colour they are in my bedroom.
So you've got the poster with all the different colours and the names?
No, yes, it shows what colour they are on the line.
Okay. And where did you get that poster from, Toby?
Can't remember.
No.
I don't remember.
Have you had it a long time?
I would say not such a long time, but quite a long time.
And where is it in your... Is it pinned to the wall?
No, it's not. It's just on the ground. Or might be on the... or maybe near the bookshelf.
Is it?
But I know I've got it somewhere near the bookshelf over there somewhere.
And can you remember the first time you went on a tube train?
I think probably about sometime after 89, 91.
So that's kind of 15... Oh, it's nearly 20... No, 15, 16 years ago?
No, I said sometime after 1989, 91, I said.
Right.
So it's a bit more than 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Did you remember where you went?
I can't remember.
It was somewhere in London, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know when you do your drawings, which we were doing this morning, you thought they looked a bit like the tube map, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what is it about it that reminds you of the tube map?
Just by the shape.
It's the shape, yeah, and the colours?
And the colours do, but mostly the shape.
Yeah.
Mostly the shape.
Because when you look at the tube map, it looks confusing. It's like spaghetti, isn't it?
Mm.
But then you can use it to find out where you want to go.
Mm.
That's quite clever, isn't it?
Mm.
Do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you could go to London now and go on the tube, which station do you think you'd choose to go from first if you could go to any?
I'll probably think where I want to go.
Yeah.
About how much it costs, and then I'll find out. Before I went, I'll find out which colour line it was first before I went.
Okay. So would you look on your poster to see first of all?
If I didn't have a poster, I'll probably do it on the phone or the computer.
Before?
Yes.
Would you print yourself a little map out so you knew where to go?
Yes, or probably do it on the phone.
Would you, like an app?
No, like Dr. Cries.
I see.
Phone.
So you'd ring them up and say, "Oh, I want to go to the Trafalgar Square."
Yes, something like that.
And they could give you some advice.
Yes.
And you call them. You call them first.
Yes.
The London Underground Company.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what place would you visit? Would you go to the sort of Tower of London or somewhere like that?
No, I'd probably go to a gallery or a museum, I think.
Would you? Which one?
I'll probably make the decision near the time, which one.
So somewhere like the British
I
Museum?
said I'd make the decision then, near the time then. I would make the decision then, near the time.
So just before you went, rather than a long time before?
Just before I went, I'd make the decision near the time, just before we went.
Okay, and if you were going to meet someone, how would you let them know?
I would check they was able to come.
Yeah.
And also find out what time they was coming.
Yeah. And then you tell them just before where you were going to meet them. So
yes.
At the museum or...
Yes.
So do you like galleries and museums?
Yes, I do.
Can you remember any that you've been to before?
I've... probably won't be able to remember probably been to Probably, the gallery I can remember is the National Gallery.
Okay.
Can't remember how long ago.
That's an art gallery, is it?
Yes, but I can't remember how long ago. It's quite a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not sexy long time ago, but...
And that was for the paintings?
Did have paintings, but I can't remember which ones.
No, I remember going to a museum. It had a big whale in it, but I can't remember the name of it. Have you been to that one?
No.
It's got a really big blue whale.
No.
I think it might have been the Natural History Museum.
Natural History Museum.
Yeah, the Natural History Museum.
It's probably part of the Jeffreys Museum.
Is it? I don't know that one.
I think it belongs to the Jeffreys Museum.
Okay. Can you tell me about that then, the Jeffreys
I think
Museum?
it belongs to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of it.
Oh,
I think that's probably in Shoreditch in London.
Okay. What about the museum with the dinosaur in?
That's probably in Dorset.
Oh, there's one there, is there? But you wouldn't be able to get to that one on the tube train, would you?
Yeah, but no.
You could start off on the tube train if you lived in London.
Yes.
But then you'd have to go to, where would you, Victoria perhaps?
No, they'll probably tell you near the time where you'd have to change.
Yeah.
Let you know, or you could go by car, save cost on the train.
Yeah. That's one way of doing it. Would you prefer to make your mind up on the day if you were going to go on one of these trips to a gallery or a museum?
I'll probably make a selection on the day.
Yeah. How would you make your decision? You woke up in the morning and you'd
Wake myself a morning inside just before we went. Probably about an hour before I went.
Would you have some choices to choose from? So you
Yes,
have maybe...
I would. I made a decision about an hour before I went.
So would you have a book of different museums to look through?
Side in my mind before I went. About an hour before I went.
So you go through the ones that you have in your mind.
Yes.
Like you go British Museum, National Gallery,
yes.
Natural History Museum.
Yes.
And you choose from one of those three?
Yes.
Nearer the time?
Yes.
That's quite a good way of doing it, Toby. And is that how you prefer to make your choices?
Yes.
Would you ever choose from a list on the piece of paper?
Yeah. Usually I check the cost, because normally when the cost goes up, most museums are free, but there are some you have to pay. I usually check if the cost has gone up and how much the cost has gone up, because normally they tell you, but sometimes they don't tell you.
And that looks like that would upset you if you didn't know how much it had gone up when you got there.
No, it doesn't upset me. I just like to know
Before
I go. It doesn't upset me. Just like to know before.
Just like to have the information before you go.
Yeah.
Do you think is it a good idea that most of the museums in this country are free?
Most of them are free in this country, but not all of them. Not every one of them, but most of them are.
Why the ones that aren't? Why do you think that they charge? Why do you think they do that, Toby?
Not sure.
Because it seems a bit strange that one might be free.
Most of the ones in London are free.
Yeah.
And ones aren't. I'm not sure why they're not free.
Perhaps they make some money by charging you for the gifts. Do you ever go to the shop afterwards? Postcards and things like that?
Yeah, but that also depends if they've got something I like in the shop. And also depends on how good the shop is. Also depends on how good the shop is. Depends on how good the shop is and if there's something I like.
Yeah, I understand that. Would you, if you saw, say, a painting...
That's what I said, depends on how good the shop is.
Yeah.
If there's something I like.
Yeah. If you saw a postcard in the shop of a painting that you saw in the gallery, would you buy that if you'd seen it on a wall?
Yeah, but depends. If the postcard was something I'd like as well.
You'd have to like it, you wouldn't just buy it?
No, I'd have to like it as well.
And would you keep the postcard when you got it home, or would you send it to someone like your mum?
No, I'd probably send it to somebody.
Would you? So you wouldn't want to keep it as like a memento?
No.
Like in a scrapbook? Have you been to Arundel Castle?
Probably not for a few years. I haven't.
Because they've got an amazing gift shop with swords and things in it, but they're really expensive. And they charge you, Toby. Do you think if you didn't have much money, you should be allowed to get into Arundel Castle for free? Like if you were a child and you didn't have any money, do you think they should let you in free? Or do you think the child should pay as well?
I think they should.
Be allowed to go in free?
Yes.
Because they may learn something and become kind of castle scientists or experts when they're older.
If they did that, they'll become some castle scientists, I think they would. Probably not at first, but I think they would the more they did it, they would. Not the first time they did it, but once they did it more often, I think they would.
So if they became like a member and they could go in as much as they wanted?
Yes, not at the first time they did it, but once they did it more often, I think they would.
Yeah, so that they would slowly get better at castles. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. So do you think if the longer you spend doing something, the more skill you get?
Yes.
Do you think that's how the presenters on documentaries kind of got so good?
Yes, that's what I think.
Like David Attenborough?
Yes.
Do you think he got free entry to the National History Museum when he was young?
He probably did, not straight away, but I think he did eventually. I think the last person to die was his brother, Richard Attenborough.
Yes, that's the filmmaker.
I think he was 90 years old.
Yeah, he was quite old, wasn't he?
They said he was 90 years old. What I didn't hear was where he came from. No, I don't think I heard if his brother was married as well. No, I didn't hear, so I don't know. No,
I don't know either. How do you think we could find that out?
That could be looked up on the computer in a minute.
We could do that, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think we've nearly come to the end of this chat. Anything else you'd like to say about the tube?
I think if the castle has a cafe, yes, they should normally, if you have children, they're normally very good at checking how many children you have when you go to the castle, but sometimes they don't think to check.
What would happen if they didn't check and you had more?
Sometimes they miscount. Like, say, when you phone, say if it's 3 or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes they miss out. When you go there the next day, they're miscalculating the number you've got, and it's 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. Okay. They're miscalculating how many children you've got.
And then it could get very expensive for you,
yes,
if you've got to pay. Not so bad if...
Not always, but I've seen that happen sometimes.
Not so bad if it was free, because then it wouldn't really matter. But
no,
if you had to pay...
Yes, well, I think sometimes they should be careful on the cost of the children. Sometimes they miss it out. Yeah. Not always, but sometimes I've seen when the parents have, they miscalculate the children. Not always, but sometimes I think they should be careful, more careful.
Yeah, perhaps they could write it down when they phone them, and then they would know, wouldn't they?
Yes.
And write their name beside the number so they know.
Yes. Normally they're very good, but sometimes they miss it out.
Okay. So, tell me about those, just one more time, Toby, tell me about those colours on the tube map. Why do you think that they gave them all those different colours and didn't just do it in black?
I'm not Probably just so that you know which line you're on when you go on the train, pardon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's a wrap. I think that's enough. We'll stop there.